Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the second half of October and the very powerful full moon that we have coming up in Aries on the 20th. Now, before I get to the astrology, and the reason I'm putting this video out a couple of days early is I had quite a flurry on Facebook in the last sort of week to 10 days because there's someone who has taken my name and my photograph and set up a group page called Pam Gregory Astrology and is offering readings for people. It's quite clear from the well over 2,000 members of that group page that they think it's me, and it's not me. And he is offering readings, and a couple of friends have tested that process, and he's obviously asking for your birth data, your name, and a photograph. Now that is gold dust, I would say, for anybody who was interested in committing identity theft. So my followers, God bless them, have gone in like a swarm of barracuda. They have been magnificent. I felt so much love and support from them. I really want to thank them from the bottom of my heart, because this isn't about me. I mean, this is happening to many, many people being scammed, but I don't want people to lose money. And in particular, I don't want them to give confidential information to someone that they actually shouldn't be trusting. So my supporters have been amazing. Some of them have spent, thank you, Sam in particular, have spent hours putting in multiple reports. Hundreds of reports of complaint have gone in from Facebook. I've submitted multiple reports, and all I get back from Facebook is, we take these issues seriously, we've checked it out, and this does not violate our community standards. So Facebook aren't doing anything, but boy, my followers are. So I'm hoping that by the power of the people, and once they're getting onto that group, they're saying, this is a scam, this is not Pam Gregory, and then of course they're being deleted, but hopefully that will make a difference. I can't get onto that group page any longer. He's obviously blocked me, but please be aware, I'm going to put the false Facebook page underneath this video, and I'm also going to put my two official Facebook pages. One is Pam Gregory, the other is Pam Gregory Astrology - the next step. I'm going to put those links below so you'll know which are legitimate and which are not. Sorry to have to bring that up, but I don't know how else to reach all of the several thousand members on his group page, because I can't get on it myself and access it. So this was the most efficient way to do it. So, and the power of the people will win over. I am not offering any client consultations at all. So if anybody is offering those to you in my name, it's not me. So be very clear on that. I'm not offering any client sessions, so be very clear. Okay, now let's get on to the astrology, which is so powerful. I talked in the last video about the energy building through the month, and indeed through these 6 months to come. It's very strong yang dynamic cardinal energy, because we have a lot of planets in Libra, and the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and they are action oriented. So there's a sense of real momentum building here, because on the 6th of the month, Pluto moves stationary direct after several months of retrograde. That is just 3 days before it makes its 5th and final exact square with Eris. That is a real energetic tipping point, I believe. Really strong. I mean, this process is progressive, but we are absolutely at an energetic tipping point. On the 11th, Saturn moves stationary direct, and then on the 18th, both Jupiter and Mercury move stationary direct. So there's this whole shift of momentum. So it's less introspective, it's more action oriented. I think people will become much clearer. So really put your energy into what you want to create. Remember that although it seems invisible, our focus and our attention actually activate and feed whatever we want to manifest. So don't put your energy into sustaining the life support system of the old order. It's crumbling. Put your energy into what you want to create. Even, as I've said many times, even if it's only the feelings of love, joy, peace, abundance, the more of us that do that, we are really bringing this vision into manifestation. So be very aware of that. And there could be a shift of energy also between the station of Saturn on the 11th, which is going to highlight the symbolism of rules and regulations and more contraction, and the symbolism of Jupiter stationing on the 18th, which is much more expansive and a strong urge for freedom. Could have quite a shift there. So the few days building into the full moon are very strong. A lot of us have problems sleeping at that time, but we do have a positive, very positive day on the 15th, because the sun is trining Jupiter at 22 of Libra Aquarius, and that's where we may have our bigger future visions. Yet again, a lot of us are doing this at the moment repeatedly to bring in new Earth. By the 18th, Mars has replaced the sun in that exact trine with Jupiter, 22 of Libra Aquarius again. So this is a real drive for truth and a drive for freedom coming in very strongly. So building up to this full moon, the energies are going to be high, because this full moon is in Aries and it is extremely dynamic. We're going to see this tipping point, this energetic tipping point, is really going to cause a cascade of events over the next 6 months that are going to be very fast moving, very head spinning, very shocking. I think for many people, a lot of truths are going to come out this month, but even more, I believe, in November. So be aware, that's going to change. This could change the whole broad narrative of what we're experiencing right now. Okay, so to help you understand this, I'm actually going to put up the chart, because in the recent video I did for the US Pluto return, a lot of people reported that they found the chart very helpful. Now, I know for some of you it's just a blizzard of hieroglyphics, but so I'm not going to put the chart up in every video, but I will do for this, because I'm actually going to share 2 charts with you that I hope will help you. Okay, so let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. So this is the chart for the full moon in Aries. And it is actually happening. The sun and moon are always opposite each other at a full moon. So this is happening at 27 degrees 26 minutes of Libra for the sun, and for the moon it's a full moon in Aries, 27 25 26 of Aries. This is happening on the 20th of October. It's happening, I've set this chart for London because I live in the UK, but you'll obviously have to adjust that time 8 hours back for PST, Pacific Standard Time, and 5 hours back for EST, Eastern Standard Time. Because of that, unless you live in the UK, ignore all of these angles, the whole clock face of the chart, just ignore it. Because we're only looking here, because the whole clock face changes very rapidly with time, roughly 1 degree for every 4 minutes on the clock, approximately. And I don't want to get too much into the technicalities, but what we're looking at here are the position of the planets and the aspects between them. Okay, so we have the full moon here at 27, 25, 26 of Aries. It is conjunct, I've drawn Aries in here because she doesn't come up in my software, Aries at 24:12 of Aries. So that's quite a tight conjunction. The moon represents the people, and we know that Aries is about the street fighter, the goddess of discord and chaos, but chaos for purpose. She's the patron saint of chaotic creation. I love that. So it's chaos with purpose. So we can accelerate our evolution for humanity. So they are opposing the sun, quite tightly conjunct Mars, and also conjunct Haumea. This is the dwarf planet linked to the Hawaiian goddess of fertility. I'll be coming back and talk about Haumea more in a moment. But all of those planets are square to Pluto at 24 of Capricorn. This looks like a slightly squiffy square. It's because of the house system I'm using. I'm not going to, we'd be lost for months if we get into those weeds. But this is a pretty tight T-square. This is incredibly dynamic. It produces action generally out in the world. And it is, although Libra energy wants to be very peaceful, this conjunction with Mars and the strong T-square with Pluto in Aries, this can be quite combustible energy, combustible, combative, I want to say even militaristic energy coming in. You know, it's warrior energy. Mars rules Aries, it's warrior energy. So be aware of that. And if this is coming at you in the outside world, just try and keep your peace. Now, yes, it's great to have conviction. It's great to have passion. Try not to tip over into anger, because anger really just begets more anger. It drops your frequency. So I would say really the best use of this Aries energy is, yes, passion and courage, bravery, standing in your power. And I feel it's very, the keywords for Aries are I am. I know myself, I know my center, I'm very clear on who I am, and I'm aware of my personal sovereignty. I act, Aries, from my personal sovereignty and my courage. That is a great, I think, expression of that Aries energy at this full moon. So, however, we may be meeting combative energy coming in from the outside, and in that case, just drop into peace, Libra energy, and bliss as often as you can. Drop into peace, bliss, and stillness. Be in nature. Just develop a habit of closing your eyes, and warmth. You can drop into bliss just by watching your breath. Baby belly breathing, remember, that's a very fast way to just change all your biomarkers. It's ever so simple. So, but yes, I think we will have legal issues coming to the fore in a bigger way. That's Libra energy. Remember, the two signs associated with the law are Libra, scales of justice, and Sagittarius, where Venus is, to do with truth. I think there are hundreds of legal cases happening across the world, but they are not, of course, on mainstream media. It may well be that they are coming to the fore in a bigger way at this time, as will a lot of truth, but even more in November. But there will be people who are fighting for others, fighting for justice, fighting for truth at this time. And this is really also echoed by this opposition between Mercury at 10 of Libra and Chiron at 9:54 of Aries. Chiron is where we feel wounded, we feel vulnerable, we're not well. And often there's a sense, a little bit like Aries, that we're on the periphery of society. But Mercury here is going to be standing up for people like that, standing up for the vulnerable. Aries is fighting a battle for sure for the marginalized, people on the periphery. So we've got some very clear themes and messages here. And when I look at this chart, because of this very strong T-square, I really have a palpable sense of death and rebirth. Not only, I mean, I talked about the symbolism of Pluto in the video I did, the US Pluto return, how it's about death, transformation, and rebirth. And that's an inherent part of Pluto's symbolism. But it's kind of got a double whammy on rebirth, because Homer is very linked in, or Homer, I'm going to get my pronunciation right, is very connected to this regenerative, creative energy of fertility, and it's the new birth. She's a very strong symbol of new earth. Remember, she could birth babies from all over her body, linking to that goddess of fertility in Hawaii. So there's an incredible surge of creative and regenerative energy with Homer. So that's why this is so much about death and rebirth here, endings and beginnings. So there's also a grand trine in air. If we look here, Mercury at 10 of Libra, Saturn at 6 or 7 really of Aquarius, and Black Moon Lilith, BML here, at 10 of Gemini. So that is really about developing new social structures that are more equal and have a deep instinctive connection to the earth. That's how I see Black Moon Lilith, as connected to the life force of nature, really, and honoring the earth as a natural organic being that we must respect and be in harmony with. And I think more and more, obviously, as we move into New Earth, that's going to be the case, because that also links in with the symbolism of Homer, being so shamanically, deeply, instinctively connected to nature. Because, you know, if you read my first book, we are completely interconnected with the earth and all of her rhythms in a much deeper way than we ever acknowledge day to day. So those are really the main things I wanted to say about this full moon chart, but it will be powerful. We'll feel the energy incredibly strongly, and just be aware as well of, as I say, this surge of a very combative energy, and try and diffuse that with peace. Love is the highest vibration. I mean, the frequency of humanity is just, the increase is just exponential right now. Love is the highest frequency. By the laws of quantum physics, the higher frequency energy will always dissolve the lower frequency energy. So it just will accelerate the crumbling of the old just by staying in love. That will, the more of us that do that, we will accelerate the momentum of New Earth arriving. Now, several of you seem to enjoy the US Pluto return video I did, because it isn't just about the US, it's actually connecting globally to the big themes that were coming up there. So what I'm going to do as an addendum to that video is show another chart here, if you can bear it. And this is the chart for the New York Stock Exchange, which I hope is showing here. I'm going to take that one out, for the New York Stock Exchange. So the time, I believe, is correct. Nick Campion, who has written the classic on the World Book of Horoscopes, didn't know the time in the chart he gave, but several people in the US who are involved in the financial markets have given me, and they've all given me the same time, and it works in terms of the events historically as well. So this is the one I'm going to use. So this is New York Stock Exchange, set up on the 17th of May, 1792, obviously New York, at 8:52 in the morning. And the full moon that we've just looked at 27 of Aries plugs into or triggers the Pluto of the US chart, or 4th of July 1776. I cover that in the US Pluto return video. And that Pluto for the US is in the second house of the country's economy, which is why it's interesting to look at the New York Stock Exchange chart as an addendum. Hope I'm being clear here. There's a lot of information here. You may just be tuning out, so apologies if you are. Okay, so one of the major themes at this full moon in Aries, I believe, is going to be around economic issues. And that's really reinforced if I look at this New York Stock Exchange chart. And what I've done is just add some of the transits on the outside of this chart. You'll notice that this does appear to be an accurate time, and this is super important axis for every single chart, person, collective, company, because the ascendant here is at 26 of Cancer, again, a cardinal sign. We know that transiting Pluto is currently at 24 of Capricorn, so it's trucking on down to hit that descendant. So it will be opposing the ascendant of the New York Stock Exchange in January, exactly, because it comes back to its Pluto return on the US Pluto in February. So it's very, very close to this, okay? And we also have transiting Chiron, wounding on the midheaven, the reputation, let's say, of this New York Stock Exchange chart. And the midheaven is the reputation or the leadership or how it appears in the world. And if we plug in this kind of T-square that we've got at the full moon, we've got Pluto there, we've got Aries, and actually the full moon itself at roughly the same place, but this is Eris at 24 of Aries. This is conjunct Saturn, 26 of Aries in this chart. We also have transiting Mars here at 24 of Libra, and that is conjunct Neptune in this chart at 27 of Libra, which rules the 9th house of international connections. So that could be the interconnected markets, and it's obviously opposing Saturn as well. So this T-square is very strongly aspecting some major points in this New York Stock Exchange chart, which reinforces really everything I was saying in the Pluto-US return. Other things that are interesting is that Ixion at the end of October will be moving back from Sagittarius into 0 of Capricorn, the world axis. Remember, 0 of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn is known as the world axis, when things become very public. Now, it last did this in March 2020 when the pandemic started and stock markets dropped. So it's moving back to that same position again. And Pluto was pretty much at 24 of Capricorn then. So Pluto is also coming back to where it was at that time, a big drop in stock markets. Also, you'll note that Ixion is square to the nodal axis of this chart. The south node is not really ever shown in charts, but the north node is at 0 of Libra, and therefore the south node will be at 0 of Aries. But Ixion is in a T-square to those nodes. So the north node here would be, the future destiny, if you like, of the New York Stock Exchange. So that's really interesting. It's like a repeat of what was happening in March 2020, but with a lot of extra big whammies of the full moon in Aries, and also Pluto about to come back over this very important angle. So there's a great deal happening here, and I'm going to stop sharing now. So I think what's exciting here is we are certainly going to be seeing some very dynamic changes starting to happen in our world. I do believe it's going to be very tough at the 3D level. I do believe it's going to be quite chaotic as systems break down. And as I've spoken a lot in the past, I think a lot of systems, educational, legal, political, medical, financial, a lot of things are going to be pretty chaotic because we are moving fully into that demolition site now, but it's a breakdown to break through. And many people I know are already living in 5D. I know them. They're there. They're living in the magic zone. They're just manifesting synchronicities of people, places, events, whatever they want. And more people are getting a sense of that because it isn't a place, it isn't somewhere we've got to work for 10 years to get to. It's right now. We can move to that 5D at any moment simply by shifting our frequency. So that's our challenge. That's our mastery, that when things are really tough, when the rubber hits the road, that we can still keep our mastery and keep our frequency high. And this month, October, I'm going to be doing an interview, which I'm very privileged and proud to be doing with Zachariah, who was an aspect of the Ascended Master Dwal Kul. I followed Zach's wisdom for many years, and I'm going to be asking about these issues like frequency in that session. So that's going to be coming out sometime in October, and I hope you'll enjoy that too, for a very different perspective. Zach apparently lives on the 26th dimension, so a very different perspective on what is unfolding in our world. He always gives it a much bigger picture. So I hope that's been helpful. If you don't know where all these points fall in your chart, you can download a free birth chart from my website, which is going through a massive redesign. Remember, I hope that will be finished by the end of October. And then if you go to below this video, You can buy a 2-part tutorial video series that will explain everything you need to know about what each lunation really means for you in your life, and it's the beginning of your astrological journey. So beneath this video there will be a link for the Pluto US return video. I'll also put up the fake Facebook group, and I will also put up my legitimate 2 pages on Facebook. I am already on MeWe, and I'm migrating to other platforms which seem a little straighter, let's say. So thanks so much for listening. I know this has been a packed report today, and I hope it's helped. God bless. Have a wonderful full moon in Aries, and bye for now.